Hello, beloved. Welcome back to the Unity Garden Kitchen. I'm Stephanie Bandozic, and today I want to share with you how I'm preserving my fresh beans for winter. Now, fresh beans are beans like string beans, things that you would eat fresh, as opposed to dry beans like pinto beans or kidney beans. So I'm going to preserve my fresh beans for winter by making something called leather britches or shucky beans. So I learned how to do this from an online friend who's Native American. Her name is Linda Black Elk, and she calls them leather britches. I've come to learn since that it's also an Appalachian tradition, that in Appalachia, they would save these beans for winter and they would call them shucky beans. And apparently they were a really sought after treat. So all of the kids would really try to get their family to be able to eat them. And grandma and mom would make sure that they were saved for a holiday meal. So apparently Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, winter holidays are when you got to enjoy the traditional shucky bean. So the first thing that you want to do is get a string bean. Now, these did not actually come from the Unity Garden. These came from the Schenectady Urban Farms, which is the community garden that I belong to. And they are a beautiful, huge bean called Vortex. They're gorgeous, they're delicious. I was a little skeptical. Sometimes larger vegetables get a little tough. They're not as juicy, they don't taste as great. But this was not the case. These are a delicious bean, and I will definitely be adding them to my Unity Garden here in my yard next year. So I understand that one of the tricks to making this work is that you have to start by snapping off the end. So I understand that one of the tricks that makes this work is you have to start by snapping off the end that would be attached to the vine. Apparently, this is one of the old-timer tricks to making sure that these dry properly and they don't rot. So you want to make sure that that end is taken off first. Then you are going to thread a needle with just some regular plain white cotton thread. And you want to get a thicker needle, something that's more like a darning needle, or you might even use for yarn. Okay, so you're gonna take your thread, your needle, you're gonna put it through the top of the bean. So you do want to tie a knot around your first one so that the first one is going to stay on the end of your thread. And then you're just going to keep going. So you're going to take your bean, thread it through, and make like a garland of string beans. Look at how big these beans are. These Vortex beans are just amazing. Okay, I have finished my garland of string beans. I actually think I should have made this one a little bit shorter because these beans are so long, it's a little heavy, but I'm gonna make do with what I have done. I'm gonna hang this up in a cool, dry, dark place to dry, and then in the wintertime, I am going to reconstitute them in a hot, boiling pot of water and cook them up. And I understand that they change consistency to where the outside becomes almost a melt in your mouth kind of consistency. And I understand that if you keep them in a dark place away from the sun, they will keep a lot of their color. So if you use green beans especially, and not the yellow beans, that might be important to you. So this is just one way that you can store your fresh beans for winter. You can hang them up and make leather breeches, also known as shucky beans. I would love to know, is this a tradition in your family? How do you dry your beans and store your food for winter? You know, I'm always saying that I think it's really important that we grow our own food, that we store our own food, that we cook from scratch. It's really the healthiest way to take care of our body and also to take care of our pocketbook, because it's very economical. It's not easy for everyone to find fresh, local, organic produce. So growing your own in your own backyard, getting together with some friends, or joining a community garden are great ways that you can take more control over what goes in your body and your family's body, because our food system is broken and our supply chain is fragile. So the more that we can do to grow and preserve and store and cook from scratch, the better. I would love to know what you're preserving today, or how you preserve your fresh beans for winter. Thank you so much for joining me today in the Unity Garden Kitchen. I am sending you love, light, peace, blessings, and joy. Please take care of yourself and take care of each other.